Our first recipe is this stuffed pepper casserole. So we're going to start off by adding all ingredients into the crock pot. So we have quinoa, short grain white rice, onion. Then we are going to add in some frozen green peas. I have 2 chopped up Mexican field roast sausages and some bell peppers, green and red, chopped up. Then we're going to add in tomato sauce and vegetable broth, and that is it. You're going to give this a nice mix up, and then you're going to pop the lid on, and we're going to cook this on high for 3 hours. That's what we're going to set it to start at. After 2 hours and 15 minutes, I'm just going to remove the lid, give it a mix. You could taste it at this point if you want to add in any more salt. We're going to add our vegan cheddar cheese on top, pop the lid on, lower the heat to low, and then cook it for another 45 minutes. So it needs 3 hours of cook time altogether. Then we're all done. Look how beautiful and melted that vegan cheese is on top. The rice and quinoa are completely cooked, and it is so delicious. We're going to garnish with some chopped parsley and red pepper flakes. You could also add vegan Parmesan cheese on here, add anything you like in. And that is it. This meal is so delicious. It's so easy to make. I love that you're getting the quinoa and the rice, but if you want to just use one grain, you totally can. And now you can just serve it up, enjoy, and there you go. Super easy and great to bring for lunches. For our second recipe, we're going to make this slow cooker chicken pot pie. So we're going to start off by mixing together flour and water. This is going to act as a thickener in our pot pie. So just add a little water in, give it a whisk, and then add the remaining bits of water. I just do this to make sure I really give all the flour a nice whisk. If you want to use maybe cornstarch, that would also work as well. So once it's all whisked up, we're going to add everything into the crock pot. We have frozen corn, frozen peas. We are going to add in onion, carrots, garlic, some celery, add in any veggies you like to this, of course, and then vegan chicken. This is the one from Like Meat. And then we're going to add in some vegan butter and our flour water mixture. Non-dairy milk, I'm using the one from Ripple. I'm going to tear in some sage, and we're going to add some fresh thyme. And we're also going to add in some salt and pepper, and then we're going to add in water and just give that a mix up. You're going to pop the lid on, and you're going to cook this on high for 4 hours. Once there's about an hour left in cooking, you're going to take a pack of crescent rolls, and we're just going to unroll them. We're going to make little mini crescent swirls. So we're going to start with half of the dough. We're going to take 1 crescent roll. We are then going to cut that 1 triangle in half. From there, we are going to roll it up as you would a little crescent roll. So just roll it up nice and tight, and they just look so cute. I actually really want to just make little mini crescent rolls, but then we're going to cut these in half so they have a flat bottom. And that is it. That's what's going to go on top of our pot pie. I just think that these are so cute. They make it look so pretty and so fancy. And again, minimal effort. You know, I'm all about looking fancy with minimal effort. So we're just going to repeat, and you're going to end up with 32 little swirls. And some of them, where if the top got a little too high, I kind of flattened it with my knife or the finger. Pop those onto a baking sheet, and you're going to pop those in the oven at 350 Fahrenheit for 9 minutes. The bottoms will be nice and golden, but the tops should be a little bit pale in color because we are going to pop this all in the oven again for like 5 minutes later on. So our chicken pot pie filling is all done. It's nice and creamy and thick. Again, give it a taste, add in more seasonings to what you like. I loved how this came out. It tasted so good. Now we're going to add those little crescent rolls on top. If you don't want to put this in the oven, you don't have to, but you could just pop it in the oven 350 Fahrenheit for 5 minutes. It just kind of gets everything to like mush together, melds everything together. I'm going to garnish with some fresh rosemary and fresh thyme. You could add some black pepper on top. And how pretty is this? I love those little crescent swirls on top. I think it makes it look so special. And as much as I love a traditional pot pie, this is such an easier way of making it. Add, you know, some more fresh herbs to your dish and enjoy. Thank you. So we are going to add in 2 chopped up bell peppers. Green bell peppers are always the cheapest, so you could just use all green bell peppers if you like. Then we are going to add in about a 1/4 cup of onion, just chopped up nice and small. Then I'm going to use the Light Life plant-based ground crumbles, but you can use any ones that you like. You could use lentils, you can use tempeh. There's tons of options. You can check it all out on my blog post down below. And then we're going to add in 3 cups of vegetable broth. I'm using low sodium vegetable broth. And then we are going to add in our tomato sauce. This is 1 can of tomato sauce, 15 ounces. Gonna add that right in there. Next up, we're adding in 1/2 cup of brown rice. You can also use white rice if you like, just whatever you want. Quinoa will work great too, or barley. And then I have a little bit of salt and sugar that we're just gonna toss right in there. I'm gonna take my tomato sauce can and fill it up about halfway so we can get the rest of that tomato sauce and add some water in. So we're just gonna dump that into the crock pot as well. We are then just going to give this a nice little mix around. Oh, and also with the peppers, I had some garlic in there too as well. I forgot to tell you guys that. So we're just going to mix this up, and we're just going to put the lid on and leave this for 4.5 to 5 hours, depending on how thick you want this soup to be. Once it is all done, we're just going to take that top off. And it's going to get a little bit steamy up in here because there's, you know, a lot of heat being made. So this is our delicious soup. It's really thick and it is so good. I loved this soup. My mom tried it, my sister tried it. Everybody really enjoyed it and thought it was really good. And it's nice because it comes together quickly. Just put everything right in there. Nice close up. You could see just how thick and filling this is. It's just really good. And I love cooking it in the crock pot. If you want it to be on the thinner side, you cook it for 4.5 hours or add in a little more vegetable broth. If you want it to be on the thicker side, cook it for 5 hours. I personally love when these soups are kind of thicker and chunkier and meatier. So this is perfect for me because it's so good. And I'm just gonna top it with some green onions, vegan cheese, and actually a little bit of sour cream. I just like adding kind of some sort of creaminess into tomato-based soups, but you can use anything you want on top. It would go great with crusty bread, great to pair with like a side salad or something. It's really, really delicious. You're gonna get about 2 to 4 servings of this, depending on what your serving size is, depending on how much you're eating, depending on who's eating. It just, you know, will change depending on what's going on. But this is our delicious soup. Easy, done, filling, comforting, and really, really good. So I hope you guys try it out. So the first thing we want to do is crumble up some vegan sausage. I had 3 different kinds of vegan sausage that I used for this. One was the chorizo from Upton Naturals. The other 2 were from Field Roast. One was an Italian style and the other was the apple sage. So I just crumbled that up with my hands. You can use any vegan sausage you like, and I go into this more in the blog post about what to do with the vegan sausages, so check that out. So then I'm just going to cut my potatoes in half, and then these are the little baby potatoes. I love them. If you want to use a full-size potato and just chop it up into pieces, you could totally do that. So now we're going to add everything into the crock pot. So I'm going to add in my potatoes, those vegan sausages we crumbled up, some garlic, about 3 cloves that I just roughly chopped, about 1/3 of a sweet onion. I like Vidalia onions, any sweet onion will do. Some vegan Parmesan, this is one from Trader Joe's, some low sodium veggie broth and water. Please make sure it's low sodium because otherwise this soup will be way too salty. A little bit of black pepper, a tiny bit of salt, and then some bay leaves. And that's pretty much it. We're just gonna give this a little stir just to kind of get everything mixed up in there. And then we are going to cook it on high for 3 hours until those potatoes are really nice and soft. So then just put your lid on and go about your day. Do what you need to do. When it is all done, it will look something like this, nice and steamy. Look at that. And when you first taste this, it might be too salty, but don't worry because we're going to take care of that in a second. Remove the bay leaves because we do not want to eat those. And then we are just going to add in our spinach, put that in there, and then just give it a little stir. And then you can cover this with the lid again and set it to the side. It's going to wilt. So we're going to make a cashew cream. So we're just going to blend up some cashews and water. Again, please check out the blog post for substitutions if you have a nut allergy. So I'm just going to blend this up to make my cashew cream until it is nice and smooth. And then that's it. Just pop this into the soup with everything else, and then the spinach will have wilted by now too, which is great. So you can see it's all cooked down and wilted and whatever, just because the crock pot was so hot. Add in that cashew cream and give everything a nice mix together until it is all well incorporated. And that's pretty much it. This soup is basically done. I mean, come on, how beautiful does that look? And oh, I just want to like dive in there. I love this color and the creaminess. It is so good. You're gonna absolutely love it. So now it is time to plate it up. So just, you know, add it to a nice bowl. Get a nice hearty serving in there, and then I garnished it with some fresh oregano and black pepper. You do not need to do that if you don't want to. Obviously, I was just trying to make it look pretty for pictures. And that's it. This is so easy, so delicious. Serve it up with some crusty bread and like a side salad. Perfect fall night dinner. All right, we're gonna start off by making our lentil bolognese first. It's gonna be a really hearty, comforting dish, so good. So first we have to add in our lentils to our slow cooker or crock pot, whatever you're using. Then I sauteed some carrots, onion, and garlic in a little bit of water just to make them soft. I like doing this ahead of time. I feel like it brings the flavors out more, but you can put them in raw into the slow cooker, whatever you have time to do. Then we're gonna add 2 cans of tomato sauce. This is one from Trader Joe's. I like this one. If you can't find it, you can use another, or you can also just blend up your own tomatoes, whatever
whatever you like to do. And then we're gonna add in 2 cups of water. The lentils are gonna soak up all this water while it cooks, so it's important that they're in there. Lentils love to soak things up. And then we're gonna add in some seasonings, black pepper, red chili flakes. I like my food a little spicy, so I like to add that in there. We're gonna add in some salt and some sugar, and the sugar is gonna combat the acidity of the tomatoes, so I highly recommend you add it in there. Then we are just going to give this a nice little mix just to make sure that everything is kind of, coated, working with each other, gotta mix it up. And then we are just going to place our lid on and cook it on high for about 4 hours and 30 minutes. I did check on this because I was home, so I kind of gave it a stir every once in a while. If you need directions for how to cook it on low, you can find that on the blog. And then this is what it should look like when it's all done. You can see those lentils are beautiful. They absorbed all of that delicious sauce and they just look so good. So I cooked up my pasta on the stove. You can add it to the slow cooker if you want, but I like to cook gluten-free pasta on the stove. I feel like it can be a little finicky. So this is the Banza chickpea pasta, and I'm just going to mix this all together. And doesn't that just look so good and so hearty and comforting? And I love it with the lentils, and it's such a good meal. The lentils are great. They're such a powerhouse for nutrition, and they're full of iron and fiber and so many good things. So I added a little bit more red pepper flakes because, like I said, I like it spicy, and just a little bit of the Follow Your Heart vegan Parmesan. Again, this is completely optional. You do not have to do this, especially if you want it to be oil-free, but I happen to like it. And this is our beautiful lentil bolognese. When it is all done, you're gonna get 4 amazing servings from this, or if you want to divide it up into more, whatever you want. And it's really healthy, really delicious. You can substitute the gluten-free pasta for regular pasta, for zoodles, for brown rice pasta, for whatever you like. So totally up to you. Our second dish is going to be this cheesy broccoli and brown rice casserole. And I know it looks like mush, but it is so good. So we have to first start by actually making kind of a cheesy sauce. So I'm going to use non-dairy milk here. I'm using almond milk, but you can use whatever you need to fit your allergy needs, or you could use veggie broth. We're gonna add in some nutritional yeast and salt. And then this is just cooked potato, carrot, and cannellini beans. Just let that boil for a few minutes on the stove until it's fork tender, about 15 to 20 minutes. Pop the lid on your blender and just blend it up until it's smooth. So this kind of replaces like a cream of mushroom or a cream of chicken that you would kind of find in a normal casserole, like a broccoli cheese casserole. So I blended it up, and then I could just see it needed a touch more almond milk. And so I add that in, and I give it a little taste too, because I want to make sure it has good flavor. So just, adjust according to your taste. If you want to add other things in, like garlic powder or onion powder or whatever, be my guest, but I was just trying to keep this simple. So I just added in that little bit extra non-dairy milk and a little bit more nutritional yeast and salt. Again, this is just to my preferences. Do whatever you like. Place that lid back on and blend it up until it is smooth, smooth, smooth. So that's what it's going to look like. Into the crock pot, we're going to add in 1 bag of frozen broccoli. And then we're gonna add in that delicious, cheesy, creamy sauce. I don't know what to call it. And then we're gonna add in our brown rice. This is short grain brown rice, some low sodium vegetable broth. And we're gonna add in a little bit of seasoning. So just some black pepper. Again, red chili flakes, I like it. Don't add it if you don't like it. A little bit of salt, especially because we did use low sodium vegetable broth. So we wanna make sure this is, has some flavor. And again, we're just gonna mix this up, get it all integrated. And then you're just going to pop that lid on, and you're going to cook it on high for 4 hours. In the last half hour of cooking, if you want, you don't have to do this. You can remove the lid, give it kind of a mix around. Mine was getting a little bit stuck to the sides. This was my mom's crock pot, and I didn't really ever work with it, so I was used to mine, but no big deal. So I just kind of mixed it all around. You could see though that rice is getting nice and cooked. And then in the last 30 minutes, if you want, you can add some vegan cheddar cheese on top. I use one from Violife, and you're just gonna pop that lid back on, and it's going to melt the cheese beautifully. But again, you don't have to do that, totally optional. And this is it. When it's all done, you could see that cheese is melted. It's kind of formed like a little layer. And I'm just going to take a nice scoop out. And this is so good. I'm telling you guys, it's like really, really good. I love how the broccoli gets broken down in there, and it's delicious. And I know it looks like mush, but just trust me. It'll also thicken up a bit as it cools. It looks a little bit almost soupy and stew-like right now, but it'll thicken up. So don't worry. And it's so easy to make. So I just plated it up, and you can eat this with like a side salad. I have actually been having it on the side with tofu. But do whatever you need to for allergy purposes, and it's just really delicious, and it's comforting, and you're getting in so many vegetables and you don't even realize it, and it's really good.